Does it have any relation, Andrew, to being a young actor with a red-hot career in terms of the choices? I mean, we're talking here about people who don't seem to have many choices in their life and never let me go. They're stuck in a predetermined society, and the metaphor is about the lack of freedom, perhaps, that we may have in our own lives and society. You as an actor seem to not have that problem at all.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, there's always more to be had from life. You know, there's always, you know, I haven't been to the moon.
Okay.
I haven't been to South America because I haven't been able.
Sorry, Sebastian.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. I'm just on this strange
Breakfast
diet.
arrives. Okay.
We're gonna keep going, and it's not gonna affect anything. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really.
But you'll be flying as Spider-Man.
Yeah, how incredible, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky, and if I analyze it too much, then it freaks me out, you know. And I just want to. I'm an actor. I love being an actor, and it's very difficult to be a working actor, whether it's work that you're proud of or not. Just a work is difficult because you're constantly at the mercy of other people.
Right.
Sometimes foolish people, you know. Like in any
critics?
job. No, not like critics.
Okay. They're not foolish people.
No. Critics are the greatest. But you know, they were like some truth. Please help yourselves. Genuinely. You know, I mean, of course, like my own sense of personal freedom is much greater than the sense of Tommy's personal freedom, of course.
Yeah.
But I can understand. But I think we can all relate to feeling limited in one's life.
I saw Red Riding Trilogy a few months ago. Did you do that before you did this? Mm-hmm. Is that the order of things? And then you did Social Network after this movie? Mm-hmm. And do you think it's one performance in one movie that gets you the next performance?
I don't know anything about it.
The director never says, "I saw you in this, and I think you."
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, but you know, I just put it down to bald-faced luck. Every time I get a job, I jump for joy, and I thank something outside of myself. You know, that's my perspective on it. You know, I feel like I honestly don't give myself much credit. I
Could you talk a little bit about how David Fincher hired you, and then how you got Spider-Man 2?
Okay. David Fincher hired me. I auditioned for him. Scott Rudin introduced me to him, and I auditioned for him a couple of times. And that's how that happened. And then Spider-Man came about in the same kind of way. I just auditioned, and you know, I went through the process, and I worked hard, and you know, had no hope of it ever occurring.
Because you were English?
No, that doesn't matter because I'm American. I was born in Los Angeles.
But raised in England?
Raised by an American father and a British mother in England.
Oh, okay.
And with an American accent in my whole life and American sensibilities in my life, so you know, I don't feel disconnected to that side of you know, to that society, to this society, that society. This is Canada.
So why'd you feel you'd never be getting Spider-Man?
Well, because you know, it's something that you dream about when you're 4 years old, you know, and how often does reality match up with a dream? In your case, never. A lot. Well, yeah. As I say, luck. I've been very, very lucky. So yeah, I mean, I was just. You never think that you're going to get a chance to portray a symbol that has meant so much to you since you were old enough to understand the concept of justice, you know, it's just an incredible thing.
Have you done your fittings yet? And have you done any?
No, it's all just kind of starting up. So I don't really know much about it.
Do you know if Peter Parker is going to be in high school, college?
I got no idea right now.
What about Mary Jane in the movie?
No idea, bro.
And what about Fincherland then? Going to Social Network after this movie? Mm-hmm. Did you meet your counterpart, your real life counterpart in that?
No.
Was that strange not to?
Yeah, it was sad. I would have liked to.
Was it legally that you weren't allowed to, or?
No, nothing to do with that. I just couldn't get a hold of him. But I kind of approach it in the same way anyway. I approach every role I play as if they're a real person, like Tommy. Like I had to treat him just like he was flesh and blood and human, and that was the point of the story. You know, are these clones human? Are they second-class citizens? Are they, you know, studying all of that was so interesting. Like analyzing the character from that perspective. Like what would it have been like to have had no mother figure, no father figure, no affection per se. Like the teachers never touch us. The teachers never kind of put a hand on us or give us affection. So to start from that place, what does that do to the human body? What does that do to the human spirit? And the idea that even if they're not aware that a mother or father exists, or like, do they still yearn for a mother and father? And I think the argument was that they do. Like, if you're born human, there are certain nurturing things that you need. Like you know, the closest equivalent I can think of is a child in foster care or a child who's an orphan. You know those kind of social implications and the kind of responses and tics that creates, and how they can relate, and if they can relate, and how that shifts. So that was really interesting about doing Never Let Me Go. Starting from that kind of imagination
Of deprivation.
And yeah, just a very different way of being reared, you know, and being ingrained that you're being reared for good reason. You know, how interesting that like it, but it happens. You know, it's a reflective of life.
So what did you read? Like, what did you do for your research to prepare for it? Did you read about people in cults or people in fascist regimes, or?
Right. I mean, I did research into like what it is to be an orphan, and like, you know, in a very vague kind of like minor way. And I went to a hospice, and I visited a hospice a few times. But that was more for the completion phase of the film, which is such an incredible place, because it's literally a place where everyone knows that what's about to happen. Everyone's aware of
Death.
the inevitability of what's about to occur, and it was really humbling. It was utterly humbling, and I advise it to everyone. I'm planning to volunteer when I'm back in England there, because it was just so. I don't know. You know, like my brother's a doctor, and he's you know, he works extremely hard, and you know, it was just incredibly humbling to witness how people deal with it, and we have no frame of reference in our Western civilization outside of the very religious, and even that frame of reference might be you know, questionable about what happens, and about an understanding of death. We put off death. We try and keep it at arm's reach, and keep it as far away from us as possible. And I think that's what this film is dealing with, this idea that this thing that binds us all, this one thing that we are all going to end up doing, is the one thing that we ignore, and the one thing that we try to forget about, and the one thing that we try to, as I say, put off and fend off.
Well, that's because man is supposedly the only creature on the planet that's aware of its own death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the other side of the deprivation,